The plane quickly fell. Raven's white moonshine Nyx freaked out and had a heart attack. I stopped Raven from unbuckling his seatbelt and snatched the medicine from him. Throw it at her. Still, or to be the only casualty of this flight accident. After his death, we got engaged, got married, and I got pregnant. Everything happened as it was meant to be. But when I gave birth to the baby, complications arose. Struggling desperately on the operating table, I shouted for help, only to see Raven. Now he is the vice president of the hospital. He stood expressionlessly as he watched me lose what little life I had left. Bella, now, you understand how terrible this is. Let the sick die, isn't it? His cold words echoed in my head. When darkness is approaching, I realized at the time, he always hated me for surviving. This time, I asked him to unbuckle his seatbelt. Come and do your duty to save lives. The plane quickly fell. Screams and cries filled the cabin. Wave rises and falls, except for Raven. No one noticed that Nyx was clutching her chest, quietly pleading for help. The in-flight announcement was calmly repeated. The plane is out of order. Passengers are requested to wear seat belts. Raven lifted his hand to unbuckle his seat belt. Without hesitation. It's as if he doesn't care about his own life. It's not the responsibility of some hero. This is to save Nyx. If I wasn't accidental, found a picture of him kissing her, I might think that his actions were motivated purely according to medical ethics. But the truth is, he couldn't bear to see his beloved white moonlight dice. The plane was violently turbulent. Passengers who were not wearing seatbelts were thrown into the air. Then he fell down with a slam blow. Many were seriously injured. Worried that he would get hurt, I tried to stop him. Pry the hand that prized the buckle of the seat belt. I threw the heart medicine to Nyx and reminded Raven, even if he wants to save others, he should first ensure his own safety. 1 person died as a result of the accident. 5 people were seriously injured and 8 were slightly injured. Nyx is deadly. That same night, Raven proposed to me. He said, "We have experienced life and death together." His tone was so heartfelt that I was moved to tears. But when I confronted him with a picture of him and Nyx, he became angry. Push your pregnant self down the stairs. All the love he showed disappear in an instant, leaving only scorching hatred. Bella, you're a doctor. Watch the patient die in front of you. Didn't you have nightmares? I was bleeding profusely and was rushed to the hospital. Lying on the operating table, weak and hopeless, I waited for the doctor to arrive. But the only one who came in was Raven. He looked at me with a blank face, watching my life fade away. Bella, now, you understand how terrible this is. Let the sick be abandoned, isn't it? As selfish as you are, you finally know the pain. Nyx feels good. After 10 years of marriage, there was no pain or pity in his eyes for me. Only the vicious contempt that cut me like a blade. In this second life, I saved Nyx to make way for Raven. Bella, I'm glad you didn't stop me this time. He sneered. His words sent chills down my spine. Raven was also reborn. This time, Nyx's luck was extraordinary. After taking the medication and undergo CPR with Raven, she gradually recovered. But Raven wasn't so lucky. Not wearing a seatbelt, he was violently thrown out in the turbulence, bumped into his head and lost consciousness. His body was riddled with cracks, especially in his hands. He became one of the seriously injured passengers. After 3 days in the ICU, he was transferred to a normal room. Doctors warned if he didn't wake up within 7 days, he will turn into a vegetative person. Raven's mom was crying and screaming in the hospital. Accused me of not taking care of her son. She grabbed my clothes and cried. He is my only son. I raised him alone all these years and now it's happening. Bella, if anything happens to Raven, you will have to pay with your life. I sneered. Raven's father died young. His mother raised him alone. Gifted students. He excelled academically and ended up easily obtaining a PhD. My family relationships helped him get the vice presidency. In the hospital, however, his mother always felt No one is good enough for her precious son. Even me, the daughter of the director of the hospital, was no exception. Crowds gather. Many people took out their mobile phones to record. Not far away, the door to a hospital room opened. A woman walked out. Her face is obscured by a mask and hat. I recognized her immediately. Point to Nyx. I pulled my hand out of Raven's mother's hand and said, "Cold, if you want to find someone to pay, you will chase her." That's Raven's love. He unbuckled her seatbelt and saved her. Now he is unconscious as a result. Nyx froze when he heard my words. She turned and fled. But Raven's mother lunged at her. Slap her hard. Her mask and hat were torn off. Expose her face to the camera. "Nyx, it's you." Raven's mom screamed, clutching her face. "If he doesn't wake up, I'll kill you." "Are you crazy?" Nyx shouted. Her face, contorted in irritation and rage, is no longer the delicate image she usually creates. "I did not ask your son to save me. He pounced on me like a desperate fool. What does this have to do with me? I just came to see him with good intentions. But with your attitude, forget it." Nyx walked away in a rage. Raven's mother was left slumped to the ground. Hatred boils. She hissed after following me into the hospital room. "I don't care. If Raven doesn't wake up, both of you are responsible. You will both take care of him and me." I rolled my eyes, glancing at Raven's scarred face. In a hospital bed, he was badly swollen and disfigured. He was almost unrecognizable. If only he knew what Nyx had said. After all, he sacrificed everything for her. I wonder how he will feel. Misfortune. He is unconscious, completely ignoring the world, smacking his tongue in regret. I turned away, but then I saw something strange. A vague, translucent person, shaped like Raven, sat up from the bed. I was startled and staggered backwards. Step on Raven's mother's foot. "Be careful." "Why are you stepping on me?" She was furious. When she slapped me, her hand went straight through Raven's soul. She couldn't see him, and I didn't dare look at him. I've been watching his ghostly figure from the corner of my eye. At first, he looked shocked, then frightened. Finally, he rushed at me and waved his hand in front of me. "Bella, can you see me?" he asked. To my surprise, I could hear his voice. "Is it because I've been born again?" I pretended I couldn't see or hear him. His expression turned to disappointment when he collapsed on the edge of the bed. Muttering, Raven said, "Where is Nyx? How is she? Did I manage to protect her this time? Why hasn't she come to see me yet?" A few nights later, I entered the ward during my shift. Raven's mom fell asleep, exhausted after a vigil at his bedside. Raven's soul sat next to her, muttering to herself. My mom was exhausted from all this, and Bella didn't even bother to help. What kind of girlfriend is she? She couldn't even accompany me through difficult times. His tone grew darker and more resentful, apparently assuming that no one could hear him. If it weren't for her parents putting pressure on me, I would never be with someone like her. She was as stiff as a brick. There is no softness or softness at all. Still, Nyx. Even her tears could melt my heart into a puddle if Bella hadn't interfered. Nyx and I have been together for a long time. We will be perfect to each other. When I heard this, my heart went cold. To Raven, I used to pursue his efforts. My parents supported his career. For him, it's nothing more than a burden. Without their help, he will never be the youngest vice president in the city's healthcare system. In our past lives, he always behaves politely and respectfully in front of my parents. But there was not a shred of gratitude in him. Anger burned in my chest, but I kept a neutral expression. When I jotted down Raven's condition in my notes, he closed his pen with a click and left the room. When I'm leaving, Nyx and several reporters barged in and loudly announced, "I would like to clear up the rumors circulating on the internet. I am grateful to Mr. Carter for helping me that day, but the claims that we are in love are baseless. Raven did pursue me when we were in school, but we've never dated. I never thought I'd meet him on a plane. His behavior was truly astonishing." She wiped away crocodile's tears. "It looks very pitiful. However, Raven's spirit seems to have been struck by lightning. He lunged forward, trying to grab her arm. But his hand went right through Nick's. "What did you say?" "You say we've never dated. You even once conceived my child." Raven wept and was overwhelmed with grief. See his miserable state. I couldn't help but feel a pang of satisfaction. Meanwhile, Nix turns to Raven's mother. Pretend to hold her hand sincerely. "Mrs. Carter, I really appreciate Raven's help that day. If only I could do something for you. Please don't hesitate to ask questions," she said sweetly. Raven's mother glared at her, then said coldly, "Nix, regarding Raven's medical expenses." Nix's face turned pale, but she barely smiled. "Don't worry, I've got you covered. Ever since Raven was injured and saved you. You'll also take turns staying with him at night, right?" Raven's mother pressed further. Nix hesitated for a moment before nodding reluctantly. "Hi, I can arrange someone to accompany him." The reporter's live broadcast was full of comments. Accuse Nix of acting. Under pressure, she agreed to work shifts in person. "I've been quietly enjoying the show. That is, until Raven's mom suddenly pointed me in. Said in front of the camera, 'Bella, you're Raven's girlfriend. You'll eventually marry him. So, why don't you take this opportunity? Practice taking care of him. You and Nix can take turns accompanying him.'" Her tone sounded as if it were. "It's only natural that I comply." I couldn't help but laugh. "Wife. Carter, I forgot to tell you. Raven and I have broken up." Raven's soul stared at me in disbelief. "Broke up? Who agreed? When did this happen?" Raven's mother raised her voice indignantly. "You're leaving him now just because he's unconscious. How ruthless you can be. He was only temporarily unconscious. Once he wakes up, his future will still be bright. You'll regret it." Raven's soul burned with rage, his translucent figure flickering. "Bella, wait and see. You'll regret it. When Nix and I lived happily ever after. You don't dare to crawl back to me. Declare that you love me," I said coldly. Turned away without glancing at the camera. "Point in my direction." From this moment on, I decided to give him the freedom he seemed to crave. My world is now vast. Break free from his chains. Nix stays behind to take care of Raven and his mother. Reluctantly, I returned home to rest and recharge. Soon after, a colleague told me about the gossip. "Bella, your ex-boyfriend is not in good health. Isn't that Nix a little influencer?" After the plane, she gained some followers. Crashed, but apparently didn't care. She came in earlier with her team. I think she genuinely wanted to help. It turns out that it's all about show. Just now, Raven got himself wet. When asked to help clean him up, she said, rolling her eyes, "How is this my problem?" The colleague sighed. "Poor guy. He almost died trying to save her." On the way past Raven's room, I noticed that the door was ajar. Inside, Nix is preparing for a photo shoot. The air was filled with a strong smell of urine. "Pinch her nose." She waved her hand, dispelling the stench. But the moment the camera was on her, she suddenly smiled, even put Raven on the bed. Her rough movements, causing blood to ooze from the wound on his hand. But she completely ignored it. They say comatose patients need to be turned over regularly. Avoid bed sores, she said to the camera. I even learned the right technique for this. She gave a demo while recording the tutorial. As soon as the camera was turned off, she let go. Raven slammed onto the bed. She wrinkled her nose in disgust and muttered to herself, "That's enough. I can't take it anymore." The smell was terrible. If it weren't for the looks, I wouldn't be here. Now I'm stuck paying all his medical bills. It's bad luck. I didn't ask him to save me. Raven's soul froze. He wears a mask on his face. Unbelievable. With every word Nix utters, his translucent figure became more and more blurred. Until, after she kicked the hospital bed in frustration, muttering that it was his own fault, not wearing a seatbelt. His soul was completely gone. But then his fingers twitched. Raven had woken up. The attending physician is also my mentor. Dragged me to Raven's room. The car was packed with people and excited. Nyx was there, walking front and middle with her team, acting too affectionately. Raven, you're finally awake. She clenched his hand and shouted. You don't know how worried I am. I've been taking turns with my mom to take care of you. I even lost weight. She pouted, looking fragile and determined. But I don't mind at all. You saved me from my wounds, and that's the least I can do. She looks like a delicate flower, pretending to support Raven with her frail body. If I hadn't seen her for what she really was, I probably believe her performance. Raven's expression, however, turned cold. He abruptly withdrew his hand and looked away. Nyx, I don't want to see you leave. Nyx froze, a flash of panic on his face. What's wrong, Raven? Did I do anything to upset you? Tears welled up in her eyes and rolled down her cheeks. As the live stream continues, there was anger in the comment section. What is Raven's problem? Nyx has been working tirelessly to take care of him. That's how he treated her. Poor Nyx. She doesn't deserve that. What a bastard. Raven. The truth about his soul could not be explained. Leave his body. Gritting his teeth, he barely told a lie. I don't feel well. I needed some peace and tranquility. The doctor frowned. The patient has just woken up and needs to rest. Raven's mom quickly kicked everyone out of the room. But before the camera catches it, Nyx left in tears. Most of the people who watched were even more confused about her. I also turned to leave, but Raven called out to me. Bella, can we talk? No, I replied without looking back. From that day on, I avoided his room completely. Even if we met in the hallway, I would quickly walk away and pretend I didn't see him. Still, thanks to my gossip-loving colleagues, I know everything about him, apparently. Raven's mother has set up a social media account. For him, the story of his heroic rescue gained him a large following. Although the reviews are divided, many praised him, but others harshly criticized him. One day, Nyx came to visit him again. Somehow, the two eventually became a romantic couple. Online. I can't believe it! This publicity stunt has gained more followers. People are now romanticizing their so-called love stories. Years later, the two young people reconnect, survived a plane crash together, and rekindle their love. It's like a plot in a novel. My colleagues were furious for me. If I didn't know you were his ex-girlfriend, I may have shipped them too. A childhood crush reunites on a plane. Coexist with life and death. It's a perfect drama, but it makes me sick to know the truth. I don't care about the gossip. Instead, I chose to focus entirely on my studies. In my previous life, I was an honor student. Scholarships are awarded every year. My mentor once told me, after another 10 years of hard work, I can be one of the leading surgeons of my generation. But when I married Raven, that ambition was shattered. I adapted to the role of a housewife, managed the occupants. Raven, on the other hand, is busy with work. I gave up my medical career. This was very disappointing for my mentor. He eventually cut off all contact with me. Every New Year's gift I give is returned unopened. I thought my sacrifice would bring us joy and fulfillment, but I never realized it. Raven didn't just have no love for me. He harbored a deep resentment. Life. I decided to put all my energy into my future. When I found my mentor to reconcile, I was surprised to find that Raven was already there. Pushed through the waves of disgust, I handed over a gift. My mentor raised an eyebrow and smiled knowingly. So the two of you have broken up. I opened my mouth to confirm, but Raven put his arm around my shoulder. We just had a fight, he said calmly. Bella hasn't forgiven me yet. In front of my mentor, he suddenly stood up and fell to one knee. Bella, I've thought a lot about this. I can't live without you. Years. We've been through so much together. We get along so well. The past few weeks without you on my side, I felt a deep emptiness in my life. Today, with our mentors, I would like to take this opportunity to propose. Bella, will you marry me? He looked up at me and smiled confidently. It was as if he was convinced that I couldn't possibly refuse. He showed a simple, unpretentious ring. Maybe less than 3 carats and unadorned. Typical Raven. Always stingy. In my past life, his family was in financial difficulty, and that didn't stop him from buying me a 3-carat diamond ring. I was so touched that I cried. Believe. He poured all his romantic energy into that moment. He proposed with a balloon, roses, and even princess tiaras. I truly believe that he will cherish me forever. So I agreed. Without hesitation, I willingly stepped into the grave of marriage, pledged to support him as he pursues his ambitions. But my will became his weapon against me. A dream I once had turned into a sharp blade. That broke me, makes me restless. Now Raven reached for my wrist. Slide the ring onto my finger. I flicked my hand, tumble the ring to the ground. It's gone, disappearing into a crack. His face darkened. Bella, what does that mean? How long do you plan to hold out? He stood up, his tone impatient. Yes, I used to be with Nyx. But that's all in the past. If rumors online make you feel uneasy, these were all arranged by my mom for the sake of publicity. I can delete my account for you. If it bothers you so much. He spoke as if it were a big concession. Dare to even question me. I used to think you were very understanding. What happened to you? This time, our mentors. Reluctance to get involved in our personal drama. Excuse to go to the kitchen to prepare fruit. I'm still sitting at the table. Calmly open the gift I brought. Don't look up. I said, Raven, we've broken up. I'm not kidding. He grabbed my arm. Broke up? I disagree. I stopped what I was doing. Turning around, they met his icy gaze. Firm eyes. Raven, if you were given another chance, know what kind of person Nyx really is. Would you still choose to save her? What are your responsibilities as a doctor? Saving lives at all costs? Or is there more? He froze. His face was pale, and he staggered against the wall. A look of surprise and confusion flashed across his face. He muttered to himself, Bella, you too. I stood up and continued. My voice is firm. Raven, I'm not a saint. I won't forgive you. Raven left early. His expression was complicated. My tutor didn't ask for details, but put the human anatomy model in front of me. Joints, organs. The pressure points are all in place. A perfect representation of the human form. Textbooks, he said, only teach the basics. In fact, there is an anomaly. It's like a heart growing on the right side, or people with 2 wombs. The model shows the most typical case. But life is full of exceptions. Even the golden ratio is not universal. You asked about the doctor's duties. There is no definitive answer. A doctor's job is to save lives. It's about whether or not to sacrifice oneself to save others. It's a personal choice. Every choice is valid, and everyone deserves respect. He poured a cup of tea, then pushed it towards me with a gentle smile. Bella, if you haven't found the answer yet, don't worry. Your life is still long, and you have plenty of time to figure it out. I suddenly remembered. The afternoon of the day I received my graduate exam results, I stumbled upon a piece of news about an earthquake that destroyed the town. The building collapsed into deep cracks in the soil, leaving countless victims trapped under the rubble. At the same time, in distant cities, the medical team is making final preparations. Rushed to the disaster area. My mentor led the team on that mission. Even the aftershocks continued. They wrote a letter of commitment. Prepare their will. And be prepared to risk your life. Give to be trapped in. Disaster area. During a short break, sweaty journalists managed to find my mentor for a 10-second interview. Pulled down his mask. This left a crimson mark on his face. His skin was pale and swollen from long hours of work. His eyes were full of worry. I don't have time to say more, but I just hope my team comes back safely. Then he immediately returned to the rescue. Worked tirelessly under the stars. My tutor was chosen for me by my parents. I was hesitant to study under him, but after reading that news report, I sent him a heartfelt email. Asked to be his student. In the following years, I accompanied him on all sorts of tasks, big and small. But later, I confined myself to the narrow world of family life. I forgot how my heart used to beat so passionately for the duty of saving lives. The next time I saw Raven was in the hospital. I am in the process of delivering documents to the head of the department, and overheard them talking privately. The head of the department looked a little troubled. Raven, it's not that we don't want you back, but after a comprehensive assessment, we draw conclusions. Your current condition is not suitable. Return to surgery. You know how important the surgeon's hand is. How about this? We can transfer you to a logistics position. What do you think? Raven's face immediately darkened. He swept through all the papers on the table. If only the table wasn't so heavy. He may also have overturned it. What does that mean? My abilities are well known. Putting me in logistics is a complete waste of talent. Before I couldn't help but laugh. The head of the department chuckled. Can't help it, he said, spinning a pen between his fingers. Raven, you're so flattered. You've come to believe it. Of course, your education is not bad. But in our hospital, you can throw a brick and hit 2 Harvard graduates. You think you can waltz here? Direct access to surgery. Then find a consulting position within 2 years. Please, it's just because of your ability, right? He sneered. As a senior, let me give you some advice. If you're with that influencer Nix, focus on it. Earn money from influencer gigs. What the hell are you without this hospital? The reality is brutal. Raven's arrogance did not waver in the slightest. He always believed in what he felt. Restrain him. Those who stand in his way. In fact, it is the wings that allow him to soar. There are no wings. No matter how high his starting point is. He will crash and burn. Humiliate. Especially when I realized that I had overheard everything. Raven's face turned pale. He stood up abruptly and walked out in a rage. Don't underestimate me. I broke through the medical barriers and used his intellect to solve research challenges. I don't need this place to prove myself. I won't settle for logistics. I quit. He left without a backup plan. At the same time, I threw myself into my studies. From assisting in surgery, final bootloader. I climbed steadily. I got back the knowledge I had leaked. And get more. Under the guidance of my mentor. He had never taught me lessons and experiences before. My personal skills improved rapidly. Gave me no time to follow Raven's latest play. Until a colleague rushed in, waving their phones and yelling for me to come. Seeing the commotion outside the hospital. Apparently, Raven's mother caused a riot. She and her accomplices. A long banner was unfurled at the entrance to the hospital. Accused the hospital of being ruthless. It reads, Raven injured his hand while saving someone. However, the hospital dismissed him without compassion. Because he is no longer useful. She claimed they were struggling to make ends meet. Can't even afford to eat. My colleague rolled his eyes. Mother and son are disgusting. When the drama with Nix is on fire, they earn cash from all the attention. Now their popularity has faded. And no one bought it. They came to the hospital. Raven hurried over, ostensibly to take away his mother. I thought he was sincere. But in front of the live camera, he put on a great show. Mom, don't do it. I can't have any more surgery on my hand. So it's only fair that the hospital let me go. Never mind. I'm still healthy. If I can't work here, I can deliver food or drive a car for a ride-sharing app at any time. There are ways to make money. Sympathy for Raven erupted on the internet. And anger at hospitals. I can't believe he played the victim so well. Ethan Carter, a delicate little white lotus. However, my parents saw through it all. Let's pay them off and put it all to rest, my dad said. On the other hand, I couldn't swallow my anger. My mom patted my hands. Think of it as paying money to see someone for who they really are. We used to think Raven was a nice kid. Who knew he would become so mean? She sighed. It's good that you broke up with him. If you marry him and find out too late, we're going to be heartbroken. Her words brought tears to my eyes. In my past life, after I die, my parents grew old overnight. Blame myself for not protecting me enough. Later, when they found out the truth, they seek revenge. By knocking down Raven with their car. Kill him. They did not escape the law. And spent the rest of his life in prison. In every timeline, my parents gave everything for me. Now, in this life, they are still worried about me. Their love is unwavering. No matter what the case may be, they have always loved me unconditionally. I won't be silent this time. Raven and Nyx arranged to meet me at a cafe. Their intentions were clear from the start. As soon as I sat down, Nyx said sweetly and firmly, "I want 5 million. Not a penny less." She smiled as if it were a casual, reasonable request. "And you?" I coldly turned to Raven. He avoided my gaze, staring at the table as if hoping it would consume him. After a long silence, he finally spoke. "I'm not that demanding. I just want to go back to the hospital, continue to consult the patient, rather than being relegated to logistics." Unforgettable. I chuckled softly. It's almost fun to see Raven still clinging to his so-called career aspirations. Taking a sip of my coffee, I shrugged my shoulders. "I'm sorry, I can't agree to any of your requests." I met Raven's surprised gaze. "You know better than anyone, Raven. Your accusations against the hospital are unfair, unfounded. The hospital never said they would fire you. They offered to transfer you to the logistics department because your hand hurts, make your work unsafe. Yet you turn around and accuse them of betrayal. Isn't that ridiculous?" I stood up, grabbed my bag, and prepared to leave. But Raven grabbed my arm. His voice was desperate. "Bella, please listen up. I don't need money. Let me go back to surgery. I would even forego surgery. I just want to stay on the front line." "Raven, are you crazy?" Nyx snapped, stamping her stilettos on his feet. "Then kick him hard. We agree with 5 million. I took a risk. Use my most popular account to go live for you. I won't take a penny less." Raven reflexively nudged her back. NYX stumbled. "Fall backwards. Then bang your head against the wall." She clutched her chest, her face pale as if dead. In that moment, my mind raced through a storm of thoughts. Resentment, ethics, morality, the value of life. The scales tipped back and forth in my heart, until I remembered the vow I had made when I chose to become a doctor. Respect for life, equal treatment of all people, respect for humanity, even in the face of perversible criminals. It is not the doctor's duty to judge or punish. This is the responsibility of the law. A doctor's job is to preserve life. I will always consider this sacred. What are you doing standing there? I pushed Raven aside. My expression was serious. "Where is the drug for NYX? Raven hesitated, froze in place. Impatient, I knelt beside Nyx and began CPR. Raven didn't move. It's like he's not a doctor. And the woman in front of him, not the one he once claimed to love. So much so that he was willing to sacrifice everything for her. How pathetic. Thankfully, I found her medication in her coat pocket. Rapid management. Nyx, still pale, regained some strength and grunted weakly. "Don't think saving me will make me forgive you. Bella, if it weren't for you chasing Raven. He won't leave me. He loves me. He just couldn't let it go. Your family's power and influence. Why a rich and privileged person like you, always above others." Her words did not disturb me. The truth no longer stirs up any emotions in my heart. I just put the pill bottle back in her bag and calmly answered, "Don't think that saving you means I'm going to let you go. The value of life is above all else. This is not where doctors judge morality." Later, I pieced together Raven's surveillance footage, refusal of logistics transfers, and recordings of our cafe sessions. The finished video reveals the truth in full detail. I have also attached a lengthy statement. Explain events from start to finish. Make sure every fact is revealed. Then I hit send. The internet exploded. Public opinion is surging like a tidal wave. Some condemned the hospital, allow its reputation to be tarnished by a few bad apples, while others harshly criticize Raven and Nyx. The incident sparked heated debate about the moral boundaries of doctors and whether a person should sacrifice themselves for others. In the midst of the chaos, I took a step back, no longer interested in the hustle and bustle. When I chose to save Nyx, I had found the answer. My duty as a doctor compelled me to save her, but my moral compass guides me to use the law. To protect yourself. Justice for those who have wronged me. Raven and Nyx were convicted of fraud. Nyx's account was confiscated by her company, and the termination of her contract left her in heavy debt. Raven's mother, considered an accomplice, sentenced to 1 year of probation. Raven's mom pleaded with me many times, even kneeling in the street on her last attempt. Exhausted, I agreed to visit Raven in prison. He was dressed in prison uniform and had a shaved head. When he saw me, he immediately clung to the railing. His face sparkled with despair. "Bella, help me. I know I was wrong. I was so stupid." Blinded by Nyx's lies. I thought she was kind, but she indulged me. I've realized my mistake. I spoke to a lawyer. They say if your family writes a letter of forgiveness, I might still have a chance. I coldly interrupted him. "That's what you called me here for." Regret was written all over his face, but his eyes were dark and he couldn't see clearly. I could tell he hadn't really changed. Somewhere in his heart, he still sees me as the girl who will forgive him. In one word, who's going to take him back anyway? But that's because I love him. Now I don't. I turned and walked away, ignoring his screams of pain. Outside, my tutor called. "You ready? Pack it all up and wait." I replied. A few days ago, I received an email about the program, bringing medical care to remote areas. The destination is a village called Saltwater, and I just passed the board exam. Without hesitation, I signed up for a year-long mission. My mom disagreed. "Why not stay here and improve your skills, publish research papers and address medical challenges? Isn't that the ultimate dream of every doctor? Your dad and I can help you get there faster." It's a tempting proposition, but I chose a different path. I want to be like my mentor. One day, I wish I could wield a scalpel, not only paving the way for brighter times. Chinese medicine. It is also to gently carve out the warmth of life.